Okay, doing a test for the audio. Okay, doing a test for the audio. Okay, doing a test for the audio. Okay, doing test sounds or audio test sound or audio sounds good on X. Going to go ahead and create a broadcast. Post it. X. Going to go ahead and create a broadcast. Storyteller. Post it. X. Got the post set up. I'm gonna test out Rumble now. Gotta hit refresh. Rumble now. Rumble sounds good. Check out post setup. Odyssey sounds good. So everything is set up and ready to go. So now I have got myself prepared on this. I even did my talking points for the story that I'm supposed to have done, which I didn't do last week because I had just completely had a disaster the entire week long. But this week I do have it done. I will tell you that I did not get through any of the story. I didn't start writing it, and I really should have because it's the 14th now, and I do want to do this within a 30-day time period. So after this, it's going to be about writing the story with the outline and everything. So I'm just saying this before I even hit record, just so if anybody's watching the live stream, they know. And I did do the sound test, and I'm running a little bit late. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to go and smoke a cigarette and drink some coffee, or get some coffee to drink. So I did my sound test. I can probably do like I've done before and get you guys set up with some music while I'm away, but let me find out. Everything's running pretty slow on my everything's running pretty slow on my computer because I'm doing a lot of work on different projects right now, so you're gonna have to kind of excuse me when it comes to all of this. If I have drop frames and stuff like that, that's because I'm overdoing it, which I've already had a discussion with you guys about. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put on a little bit of bass line so you guys can listen to some bass line while I'm going and getting all prepared. Don't worry, none of this is copywritten. It's stuff that I've created myself, so give you guys something to listen to. Plus it'll give me a chance to get off this thing and do something cool.
home rep. No pub. Fuck you up. Last night in cold blood, my young have ride. Shorty go, fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pub. Fuck you up. You brother get your ass, I'm gonna back none suck. Got all the boom, rep, no pub. Fuck you up. Watching learn in the ball to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hands and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no side. TV rope and told some ad to fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pop. Fuck you up. You rather get your ass, I'm gonna back none talk. I order boom. Rep no pop, fuck you up. Watch and learn in the road to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hangs and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no shot. TV rope and toast you add the fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pop. Fuck you up. You rather get your ass, I'm gonna back none talk. I order boom, rep, no pop. Fuck you up. Watch and learn in the road to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hangs and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no shot. TV rope and toast you add the fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pop. Fuck you up. You rather get your ass, I'm gonna back none talk. I order boom. Rep no pop, fuck you up. Watch and learn in the road to the red that ride. Shorty go, post your hangs and I read that lie. I tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. If you ride by, you don't see him had no shot. TV rope and toast you add the fly. Tell me what if you left me, whatever I got. Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. Fucking home rep, no pop. Fuck you up. You rather get your ass, I'm gonna back none talk. I order boom, rep, no pop. Fuck you.
Okay, so we are back. I believe I've got everything straight. Not quite sure yet, so let me double check and make sure. Yeah, we're good. Now I'm gonna do another audio check, make sure. Okay, yeah, it's good to go. So I'm getting ready now to start the show. I'll hit record, do my countdown, and hit record. I got my coffee. Everything's good to go. So today I actually am organized, hopefully, and I can get this done right. I did a pretty good job. It's a 15 minutes before the stream, which means it's on schedule. It's just late, like 15 after the hour. Shouldn't have been it. Take a couple drinks of my coffee. Get ready. Okay. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Storyteller. I'm Roger Hanson and today I am going to continue on with the outline that I have for my story. Last week I wasn't able to pull it all up. I finished The Catalyst, The Dark Turn, which was 2 pages long, and The Debate, which is another 2 pages, but I got really messed up when it came to everyday life. Things got chaotic, and plus things didn't work out too well with the OBS, so I had a lot of issues going on that I had to work out. But hopefully I've got everything organized and we can get things going and hooked up. Before I get started, though, I do want to mention a couple of things that I am happy to say. First of all, I have gotten the Wallhouse Curse finished with the narrations. That is scheduled and ready to go all the way up to the end of the episodes. Now, the final episode, I believe, is coming up. This one was part 11 and part 12. But I'm not going to tell anybody the spoilers to it because I'm not. Well, if you've listened to any of these, you know I'm not big on the spoilers. So I'll leave it to you on that one. It's an interesting story. It's something that you guys should check out. John G off of Minds.com is the one who wrote it. He's a local writer, and he's somebody that I've gotten to know, and he was gracious enough to allow me to use his use his story for narration. So after I finished up with that, what I turned around and I did is I did a full version of the story, and I have that one rendering right now. I started it 3 going on 4 days ago, so it's going to take a while. It's a 6-hour story, a read, and I am in the process of getting that finished. After I'm done with that, I'm going to post it up on my main channel, because that's where I like to put all the stuff that I've done from beginning to end on when I have a chance to. And this is one of those things that I do want to share on my main channel, which is Roger Hansen on YouTube. On Odyssey, or on Odyssey, it's going to be live with Roger Hansen, and then on X, it's the regular channel that you guys are going to get on there too. It's not going to be a live stream all the way through. I don't think they have enough. I don't think you can stream that long on some of the platforms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it on there and have it scheduled and ready to go. Over on Rumble, I'll have it on the Storyteller, so it should be available on there. I don't know for sure if they'll let me upload that big of a file either on there. All of this stuff for Rumble and X, even Odyssey, I don't think it does it for a full 6 hours, but I'll check it out and find out. I'll have it available and ready to go on YouTube, which is good enough, I guess. And I'm also going to take a copy of it, and I'm going to send it to John G so that he can have a copy of it as well. And again, if John's listening, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to do it. It was a great project, and I really enjoyed doing the story, so thank you. Now, with that being said, I can get on with the stories. And by the way, I've finished up on all of the short stories that I've done for the Storyteller. They're scheduled and ready to go all the way up to the end, so check them out. And tell me something in comments. Give me feedback on it if you like it or not, because I really do like comments and everything. I like comments better than liking and sharing and all that stuff, I love to have conversations with people on chat or in the comment section. So now, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start with the outline that I put together. Now, I've already gone through the plot, and you guys know how that goes, alright? Now, what I did is after, and most people who write don't do this. This is just something that I've done since I was young, like I've said in my previous episode about this. It's something that I've done. I've always done an outline for my stories even before trying to tackle this plot theme, putting a plot on a story. And this is what I'm used to, so I figured, even if I do add a plot to my stories, I can still go ahead and outline it to where I can be a little bit more precise on it. So what I've done is I've incorporated a plot to a short story with a outline that goes with it, and that's basically how it comes down to. And I've done a couple of things with this story that's kind of strange that I noticed is complicated, and I wanted to give it a try. First, I wanted to put a plot on the short stories, and each short story is a separate story, you know what I mean? So they each have a different plot that connects them together. After I did the short stories, I went through and I made a short story about each character, And the difference there with it too is the fact that these characters are during different time periods and in different places, but they're all related to the original story. So, with the exception of Tiana and Zuthra, which are the first two short stories, they do have a connection. The other ones are going to be different characters from a different time period or in a different area. And I wanted to do that so that I could actually, make a good series that kind of goes off into different directions and stuff with plots that connect one another. So that's basically what I'm doing. I haven't said that in a while, so I figured maybe this would be a good time to bring that up. So with that, I'm gonna get on with Tiana's Descent, I believe, is what I named it. So I'm having issues with my shirt now. It's stuck around the back of the computer chair. So now I get into the finale, and this is going to be about the end of Tiana's rule. And I'm going to make this 2 pages long in my short story, which is going to be 11 pages altogether. So now this is where I have to keep remembering that I need to do my bullet points, which I've been wanting to do. And the last time I did this, I forgot to add them on there. So this is break into 2, and it's a turning point, and this is 2 pages long. So this is where things start to change, and there's a turning point within the story. Most heroes, when they have, a positive spin to it, they have a good life, and then they make it to break into 2, which is the turning point where everything starts to fall apart. And there's a turning point. This is where the bad shit happens to the hero. Well, Tiana is not a good guy at all. She's ruthless, she's evil, but she freaking starts this story out where she is a ruler, or a dictator, whatever you want to call her, okay? And at the break into 2, this is where all of that stuff starts to unravel. Okay, this is where all the bad shit starts to happen. So this is pivotal in the storyline when it comes to plot theme, and it's going to be 2 pages long. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an explanation. It probably wasn't the best way of explaining it. I'm sure there's a lot of cool chicks out there that are good at writing love stories and stuff that can tell you how to do this better than me. So, but anyhow, that's the basic gist of it. Now, how I'm wanting to start this out is I want to talk about Tiana's allegiance to the Draco and how it begins to wane. Okay, the Draco first of all starts to lose interest in her, and the reason why they start to lose interest in her is because of what I was. I'm in the wrong. At the wrong time. No, this is. I'm going to talk about Tiana's. Okay. At the beginning of Breaking Into 2, what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to set it up to where it starts out where it's talking about Tiana's men, her troops and everything are going house to house, and they're gathering up all of her subjects for like a mass calling. Okay. Now, at this point in the story, that's where things start taking a turn for the worse. All right, her subjects start to speak out instead of whispers of rebellion and stuff. They start speaking out and protest about it. You know what I mean? Now, that's where plots, like I said, that were once whispered are now actually becoming louder, and they're becoming more vocal to to all of the things that are happening, the atrocities and the callings and the experiments and things of that nature. Now, this goes according to the debate that I had, which is 2 pages long as well. And I mentioned that before. This is where her subjects who were once loyal to Tiana and the Draco begins to form factions among themselves. You know what I'm saying? And there are those who want to rebel, and now they're debating on whether if they want to revolt against Tiana and her tyrannical leadership, or if they just want to flee, if they want to, go, or if they want to do a mass exodus, like the people before them, before with Zuthra. Zuthra was the first short story that I did on this, and I'm working on still, but now these followers of hers are starting to debate if they're wanting to do that. Then all of a sudden, Tiana is sending her soldiers out house to house and gathering up people for a mass calling. And when she does the mass calling, it involves, for one thing, the Draco. They use humans as a food source, for one. Not all of them, but some of them. That's what I want to make it out in the storyline, because I've got a background story for this too. But they also use them for genetic research, and where they mix the genes of humans with the genes of reptilian DNA, and they create monstrosities. And then there's also experiments where they're using cybernetics and robotics to create cyborgs, things of that nature. So all this is going on, and she's getting more and more into her madness, and she's going out and she's collecting people, and they're using them for these experiments in a mass calling, basically. So that kind of gives you a little feedback on what's going on in the story. Now, with these people, these factions, this is where I also start changing their whole way of the debate thing, because what I want them to see that their enemies are too powerful, and they know that if they rise up against the enemy, their tyrannical leaders, that it'll be overwhelming for them. They would never be able to win. So they decide that instead of making plans for rebellion, they decide that they want to go ahead and do a mass exodus, and everybody just leaves. Okay. Now, when they do this mass exodus, what I want them, after they've realized that the Dracos have been deceiving them, and Tiana was lying to them, I want them to flee to like distant parts of the cosmos. Now, with this, I was inspired by ufology. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's out there that really caught my attention. It's a really exciting storyline. I'm not saying I believe in it, you know what I mean, but as a storyteller, I know that this stuff is completely amazing when you listen to it. So I believe that this would be something that would be it'd be a good part to put into my stories, you know what I mean, because they are pretty interesting. There's a lot of content there that I could actually turn into quality material if I actually focus and put it down on paper and do it right. But there are a lot of people who believe in this stuff. So what I want to say is, I want to try to keep it as neutral as I can, and I want everybody to understand this is all fiction. This is ideas that I came up with, that I've heard, that I've turned into a fictional story. Okay, there's nothing here that I'm saying that actually was said by anybody else. So I use my characters are blended in from ufology, history, ancient history mostly, and the lore in it, as well as I said ufology, as well as some of the role-playing games that I've played. You know what I mean? So I've got a combination of that. Forgotten Realms and D&D are a big part of this. Forgotten Realms especially, because there's a lot of good aspects that I could add into my story from character building on there, which is pretty cool. So, but this whole aspect comes from ufology, and it's really, really good content. You know what I mean? No matter how you look at it, it's really amazing. When people hear these stories, it just does something in their brain. It creates like a freaking chemical within their brain, and it makes them just excited and overwhelmed. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I decided it was a good idea to incorporate these concepts into my stories and try to build on them. So that's where that comes from. So yeah, followers who revered the Draco now are in my story are now telling stories of the horrors they witnessed as they push out to distant parts of the cosmos. So you have people who have already left, and then now in the first mass exodus during Zuther's rule, and then you have these people who are the ones that were left behind, and their exodus. They're doing an exodus too, leaving as well. And as they go out, they're telling stories of the things that happened to them with the Dracos, with these callings and the experimentation and stuff like that. Now, at some point, I do want to get more in detail about the experimentation with DNA and the cybernetics and the cyborgs and things of that nature. But like I said, I'm doing this to where it's a short story altogether. This short story is going to be maybe 11, 12 pages long. I'm trying to keep it at 11 pages, just like I did the one before this. And then I'll expand it and go into another story where I'll incorporate a little bit at a time. Doing it this way, and I've said this before in a couple of the previous videos, but doing it this way with a plot, a short story, and all of that, I've had to actually learn how to tame myself when it comes to writing stories, and say, okay, I need to take this out and just take this out, and then just, actually make it shorter. Because for me, when it comes to writing, I was always good at writing big stories. And I've said this, I'm not going to go into it all the way, but I was always good at making big stories, but I was never able to discipline myself to just sitting down and writing maybe a 5-page story or a 10-page story. You know what I mean? I was always good at doing the big ones, not the small ones. And I mean, good luck if you can see me writing a 1-page, just a 1-page short story is something amazing, especially if it's plotted. Now that would be a trick, but that's something I did want to bring up because I don't know how many of these episodes I'm going to do from this point on. I just wanted to point that out so that people understand that, you know what I mean? So I'm working on that, and I'm having to take parts out. But as I do these short stories, I'm going to be putting them together in a series, and as the series plays out, I'll incorporate more of these aspects from the backstory into it, and I have been trying to do this plot thing and coming up with the best possible way of doing it. So I am working on that, and I will keep on doing it. Okay, so like I said, her once followers, Tiana's, they end up leaving to the distant parts of the cosmos, and they start telling stories of the horrors that they had witnessed. Now this comes to the finale, and this is the end of Tiana's rule. This is where I accidentally started up. Now this is going to be 2 pages long, and this is the part where Tiana's allegiance to the Dracos begins to wane, okay? And that's because the Dracos start to lose interest in her. She's starting to lose her followers, the people who she once called her people, you know what I mean? And they start fleeing from her. But even though this is happening, she still remains deluded, okay? Tiana sees herself as a martyr, a legendary figure who's destined for to be added to the annals of time. In the annals of time, people will remember her forever. She's got these delusional thoughts while all of this is going on, that everything's great, you know what I mean? And she continues to act that way while she loses support from her followers as well as from the Dracos themselves. So everybody's starting to distance from her, and they're not really taking her serious anymore. Now, even with that said, Tiana continues her brutal experiments, Now, she continues the experiments with the genetics and stuff of that nature, and she's oblivious to what I refer to as the storm gathering around her. Like everything is just freaking falling apart in her life, but she's completely oblivious to it. You know what I mean? She has no idea what's going on when it comes to this stuff. In her mind, everything is still great. And she's just, this ruler that's so awesome and so great, and everybody loves her and stuff. So what happens? She views herself as a hero by her people, is what it basically is. And even though she views herself as a hero to her people, she's not. So that makes it to where she's alone in her madness, and she eventually is finally abandoned, and that's because all the remaining followers that she has flees under the cover of night, under the cover of darkness, trying to sneak out without being seen and stuff. So that's how I want the finale to finally end up, to where she becomes alone and she's stuck in her own head, her own madness. Because you got to remember what I was saying before. When it comes to that, this is also about the catalyst, I believe, is what it was. The signs of her madness started coming out and everything, and she ended up showing there's something going on with her in her head. You know what I mean? She's got a conflict of some sort, and it's inner turmoil is how I referred to it. So that was the stuff that happened where she was isolating herself, both physically and emotionally. Like she was staying away from people so that they wouldn't notice how she's going crazy. And then she started isolating mentally within her own mind. You know what I mean? Where she wasn't actually comprehending what people were saying, and she really didn't care what they were saying. She started seeing people as objects to be used and stuff of that nature. And then her bloodlust started kicking in, and with her bloodlust, she started having a lust for for torturing people, and I keep having issues with the networks bouncing on and off. That's why I paused. But she with the torture, she has a list for it, and then she starts going for the experimenting and things of that nature, and she just gets darker and darker as she's going, and this turmoil is going on in her head, because while she's doing that, she's also picturing herself as a martyr and a hero to her people who are isolating, or she's isolating from, and they're abandoning her because they start noticing that she's going crazy, and that they need to get away from her, you know what I mean? And that is the part that I really want to kind of emphasize in this story while I'm writing it, because I know that that's something that's really the exact reason why it needs to be brought out, because it gives more, it makes her character more concrete, and it gives it a foundation, you know what I mean? Tiana was the hardest character I had to start out with, to be honest with you. And when I was going through it last year with this story, and Karma was here, Karma just loved Tiana, you know what I mean? And she was fascinated with her. And then I also let other people listen to the story, and they were the same way. They really liked that character. The only problem is trying to fit her in with this story was really, really complicated, because I tried to make Zuthra into something more than what he should have been, you know what I mean? So I had to work around that, and also incorporate Tiana into his story, and then from there I could do this. I could go ahead and sit down and create a story about Tiana. I could most likely do stories about the other two wives as well, because I've been having some pretty cool ideas that I've been coming up with on my other platform for Earth. I've been doing some stories there as well as here. I actually did about 6 sci-fi stories that I liked, so I think that'll work out real good. So I still forgot to put my finale timeline up there. I wish I had somebody that could remind me of that. But this is something that I really, really want to do on my own. I don't know, there's just something about my writing. It's very, very personal for me. And when it comes to live streaming, I've had a lot of issues in real life when it comes to streaming. You know, a lot of different things happen, and like when it comes to opening up with my stories, it just does not seem good at all to me. I just feel a little bit insecure about that. And that's me. So don't get me wrong on that. And I've always been that way, not just on streaming. I've had a hard time with letting people know about my stories and reading about them. It's been something that I've done for quite a long time. But it would be good to have somebody here that could remind me to do stuff like this, because I really want to do these PowerPoints in my videos when I do these videos, so that it could look good. So with that, I am going to move on to the closing image. Now, oh shit. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. The closing image. Now, the closing image is going to be 1 page long. And with the closing image, it's going to be the same as what it was before in my plot. Because it's just 1 page long, it's kind of like the opening image. You set an image, the first thing that people visualize in their head when they're reading your book or your short story. You want to make it to where people can hear that and visualize it in your head. So you do the complete opposite, or you do the same thing at the end of the story with a closing image, and it's not like a situation or anything. It's an image that people will see in their head because you tell them what that one moment looks like and stuff. So that's kind of what you do, and I figured I'm gonna keep this one the same as what I did in my plot, because it's the closing image. I don't need to outline it or anything, so I'll go ahead and read that. So the closing image is 1 page long, and this is how it goes. It goes, as the stones of the once mighty Lycian Empire crumble into decay, the sun appears on the horizon. The oppressed land of Lycia, now ruled by the Draco, are barren and forgotten, with the mad queen no longer alive. The whispers of betrayal are gone, and nature begins to reclaim the land. Now, I did change how I wrote that. I made it to where it was a little bit better, in my opinion, but it is different from what it was when I was doing my plot. I went through and changed the writing a little bit, but that's going to be the gist of the closing image. And well, I guess I should kind of do an outline on it, break it down, because that's got to be 1 page, so I can go ahead and do that. It's just I can be more descriptive on the once mighty Lycian Empire, like how it says crumbling and decay. I could be a little be descriptive about buildings that are crumbling and stuff like that. Maybe how the sun rises in the horizon, how beautiful it is. I could be a little descriptive there. I was really iffy about the oppressed lands of Lycia, because that's not really in the moment, you know what I mean? And ruled by the Draco. But barren, but I can talk about how the Lycian lands are barren and forgotten, that, I don't know, it's kind of borderline on that one. Now with the whole thing about the Mad Queen no longer alive, I could probably show a scene where it's showing her burial place, you know what I mean? Kind of describe what her burial place looks like. That would probably be pretty good. I'm trying to really get this stuff to live stream, guys, but it's bouncing off and on all of the networks, so if you guys hear me cutting on and off, I apologize about that. I am recording, so I will have a final recorded version of this out, so that if you guys, if this gets annoying to you, I don't even know if it's cutting off, but I have an idea it probably is. But anyhow, I wanted to go through this, and I also wanted to add on to the back of it, the bottom part, about nature begins to reclaim the land, you know what I mean? So maybe like in the scene, I can make it to where it's Tiana's burial spot, and then you see things around it which is decaying and falling apart, stuff of that nature. Maybe get some good things, because it's got to be one scene, one image. It can't be a story, just it's a descriptive image for the final scene. And the reason why I did that was because the opening scene, I believe, was the opening scene opens with the crumbling remnants of the Lycian Empire too, you know what I mean? And I started out by saying, that it was going to be, I was going to describe the dark skies that loom over once great cities, and things of that nature. Instead of writing all that out, I can actually just describe, these great cities with the skies, and how the skies being dark, and how they loom over the city, and then I can get into like showing the ruins of cathedrals and all of these buildings, these great buildings that are now just um, destroyed because of the invasion. And in the end scene, I bring it back to that, you know what I mean, to where it shows the decimated, once mighty empire, you know, and how it's in decay, and then like the burial spot of the Mad Queen, Tiana, the Mad Queen. So that's basically what my my story is going to be about. Now I do have a breakdown, for a page breakdown, which I actually can go over and kind of give me a little extra time here. But like my opening scene, like I said, was going to be 1 page, and then my setup is going to be 2 pages. My catalyst is going to be 2 pages. Then there's the debate. Okay, that is going to be 2 pages long as well. Now, after the debate, there's the break into 2. Now, the break into 2 is the midpoint where I was talking to you about where things start changing. You know what I mean? If you're a good guy, it changes for the worst. If the story starts out where everything is good for you, this is the point where everything starts turning bad. If everything starts out in the story where things are good for you or bad for you, then this would be the midpoint where everything starts getting better. You know what I mean? But then after that, you start getting into after that, things vary. You know what I mean? Like now I've got the finale going on after that, but before there, when I did it last year, there was a part in there where there was actually 1 or 2 parts in there that I took out, but it's things start getting bad, but then, you know, it gets even worse until finally you have an aha moment where everything makes sense and you start changing things around to where freaking it goes back to things being good again, you know. I took all that out because I wanted to try to simplify this, and it goes back again to the fact that this is only going to be maybe 11, 12 pages long, you know. So I have to kind of stretch out my resources on what I'm going to go and do there. So I went from break into 2 to my finale, and the break into 2 is just 2 pages long, and the finale is also 2 pages long. And after the finale, that's when I do the closing, and the closing is going to be somewhat mirroring the opening image. So you have the opening image and then the closing image. I did want to keep that. There's another aspect that I did leave out, and I wanted to point that out so people know. There's also the B story that a lot of people do. Like they'll take and they'll have the main story, and then they'll have another character within the story who's not the protagonist, but they'll add that side story in to kind of make the story a little bit more interesting. I'm not doing that. Not for this one or anything, you know what I mean? Because I'm not doing it for this one because it'll make it more complicated than what I really need it to be with this short of a story, you know. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Now, if I was writing a longer story, it would be different, but I just really don't want to do it. It's something that is completely out of my limit at this point. Maybe later on I can, but I need to get used to, X keeps bouncing in and out, but I really need to get used to this kind of stuff. Get used to being able to write these short stories. And the more I do it, the better I'll get at it, because that's something I really do want to tackle. I'm also wanting to get back into poetry, because I mentioned that last week. And this time maybe learn some structure, learn how to structure a poem the way they're supposed to be structured, instead of doing it off the top of my head like I've been doing all my life. I've never tried to structure any kind of poetry. I don't know why, but I've just never done it. I'd like to do a haiku and do it the right way, because I've played around with it, but I've never actually done it the way that they say you're supposed to structure it. So I think that would actually be pretty cool to do stuff like that. Now, that is the end of my outline. I'm not going to get into my writing because, like I said before I started recording, I have done absolutely no writing whatsoever, and it's already the 14th. I should have actually started writing at the beginning of the month, but I am okay with that. I can do my writing now, and from now on I'll do streams pertaining to the stories I'm writing at that moment. I really don't even know if I'm going to do very many more streams for this, because my goal for each series is usually about 12, but when it comes to this storytelling stream, I've noticed that there's not really it's not really great to do 12 streams of it, doing the outlines like this for a season, because you run out of it. Now I could actually just do it on nothing but building up outlines and things like that, but then I'd have to go back and actually write the story. But I will be back on to kind of go over my rough draft. I'm saying I don't know if it's actually going to make 12 streams. I doubt it very much. I think this is part 6 or 7, or the 6th or 7th stream for this year. So I've done pretty good. I made it up to 45 minutes there. I wanted to get on minds.com and get John G's actual name, because I keep forgetting it. So what I want to do is I want to do a plug for him and let everybody know to how to contact him or how to get his book, because it was a good book, and he allowed me to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that up once it's done loading. I just call him John G, so I'm not used to what his actual name is. So it's John Gaffield, Gaffield, and you can find him on Minds at John G76. And he was gracious enough to let me share his story, and I hope you guys do enjoy that, because I enjoyed doing the narration and everything. And when I do these narrations, I don't, when it's from somebody else. On my own, I can do it. I can change it around and everything. But when I do somebody else's story, I leave it the way it was written. There's no altering it or anything like that. So this is his story, the way he wrote it, and I kept it that way for a reason. Now, when the full version comes out, if you guys have gone through and you've watched the videos for this, you've seen that I had the Storyteller on it, and even the thumbnail was the Storyteller. In this full version, I'm doing it with his book cover on it. So it's going to be his original book cover with the story. I'll still have the audio visualization with it, and of that nature, and it's in the process of rendering right now. I'm up to 5 hours and 7 minutes, and the story goes a little bit over 6 hours. I've been rendering for 4 days now, so it kind of gives you an idea of how long it takes for long videos or audio files or whatever, big videos to render on Blender. So that is what I have got going for me. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to an end. I believe I did good. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and thank you for watching. It's like I said, if you want to do me a favor, don't worry about liking or freaking sharing or anything. Freaking just leave a comment, dude. You know, I love talking to people. And this isn't a rowdy freaking subject. It's about writing, you know. So let's talk about writing. Throw some ideas at one another. If you guys are into like collaboration and stuff like that, freaking talk about it. We can do something together, you know. It's a great way of doing stuff, is all I know. I'd really like to throw ideas back and forth to people. So let's talk. Don't hold back, you know. And with that, I guess I am done. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.